This is an addendum to my last video about the matrix of relationships, the Foxconn Lordstown or the Foxtown Syndicate. Now this is a 3Q22 part of their presentation of their report at Foxconn. I have this on a secondary computer, so I'm just going to use my mouse as a pointer here. Year over year they're showing this is a great way to do this, graphically represent this, by the way. Year over year they're showing an increase, and quarter to quarter they're showing flat. Smart consumer electronic products, I believe this is your phone. By the pictures there, they're showing a down. And again, I said short Apple, long Lordstown. Year over year they're showing flat. So you know, that's it for the phones. The cloud networking, again, they had a good report last quarter. This is flat, and year over year it's up. So their cloud and network products, especially their cloud division, is really doing well. Computing products are both up. I am not aware of what Foxconn's computing projects are. I imagine they are component boards and connectors. Oh no, those are the secondaries. So we'll have to look into this at some other point. We're not concerned with this now. This is about battery electric vehicles. But these computing products are both up year over year and quarter over quarter. Now their components and other products, and these are the connectors and chips they make. It's up quarter after quarter and upward trend year over year. So I think the big news to take away here is that the phones are not great. That's why Foxconn is moving into battery electric vehicles. Let me see if I can move to the next slide here. Now this is EV, or battery electric vehicle development. Now I want you to pay attention to this. All they mention is their, well, let's just go through it. Monarch, new client, electric and autonomous tractor. This is a very cool tractor I had done some research on in the past. Intelligent, autonomous agricultural tractors. Again, they can work in groups. It's very cool. Digitized and 24/7 smart tractor. 2023 Q1 is the start of production on these. Now, if you recall from Lordstown Motors presentation, Hightower said that their head that they brought in the black woman from Ford, not that it matters that she's black, but I'm just stating, their logistics person has assured him that March 23 there will be no supply chain problems. So it looks like that's going to also work with the Monarch tractor. This is very exciting. I got to do a video on this, no time at the moment. Now, passenger EV R&D center in North America. Okay, again, Foxconn North America is where they're doing everything. Establish an R&D center in Detroit where everybody has. Okay. They have adopted the MIH EV open platform. We all know this, but it just shows you there's been a lot of activity, a lot of seminars on the web. There's a lot of manufacturers and consultants all joining these MIH meet and greets and seminars on how to work with the MIH program. So it's turned into be quite a big deal. Now, rapid development of passenger EV models to capture business-to-business opportunities. Okay? Business-to-business opportunities. What is that? I read that as fleets. Okay? Passenger EV models. King cab. Also high-top van. Okay? You can even put the three-row SUV. The original Suburban was developed as a vehicle to move highway construction crews around and surveyors. That's what it was used for initially. So, I think you can read between the lines. This is Lordstown Motors, rapid development, B2B opportunities. I told you they want to move fast and gain market share. That is their goal. The Ohio EV Factory. This is Lordstown, Ohio. Okay, and the area that's and where Lordstown Motors has a lot of their staff. They also have staff in Detroit. Completed land, equipment, and asset transfer. So the sale was done. We all know this. Everything was paid. There was a lot of naysayers. This was never going to happen. Some people who I did not understand their logic thought that Foxconn was going to let this default so they could take advantage of Lordstown Motors, which is ridiculous. That's their key partner. 400 employees joined Honhai. Now, I was just looking at some drone footage of the Lordstown Motors facility. And there were a lot of cars there, but you would expect more. You got to understand, it takes 30% of the employees to produce an EV that it takes to produce an ICE vehicle. So 400 employees building ICE vehicles, that would be normally 1,200 people in the parking lot, something like that, maybe 1,500 people in the parking lot. So when you see these low employment numbers, don't let them fool you, because the nature, and especially with the hub motors, they simplify the manufacturing process even more. Less employees are going to be needed. Okay? That is not a bad thing. July startup for production of pickup trucks. Okay. This was in their quarterly report. Okay? So anybody that doesn't think Lordstown Motors is making endurance pickup trucks, they've been making them for 2 months. It's my opinion they're delivering them right now. Rapid deployment, B2B opportunities. That's rapid deployment of the endurance fleet opportunities. Q1 23, this is when the endurance is really going to hit its stride with full production. All right, this is an interesting slide. Let's see if we can move on to the next slide. Now they have EV battery development. Foxconn, and we're going to go through a presentation in a second, is getting into BEV battery development, just like everybody else. They got a plan that's coming on. They're spending $200 million in Taiwan right now. This plant is going to come online with production in 2024. So they got battery cell development. Now, Gotion was also interested in working with Lordstown Motors. Gotion is a battery manufacturer out of China that has an office much less than 100 miles from the Lordstown facility. I believe it's an R&D office right now. Whether that's working directly with Lordstown Motors, there is, everybody's accusing me of conjecture. Well, you fill in the blanks there. LFP e-bus battery cell sample available in Q3. So this is an iron cell. This is for Foxconn's first product, of which I think they have a working model on the road in Taiwan. It's a bus, a city bus. Battery production, start construction in Ho-Fi Industrial Park in 2022 Q3. Start construction, I should say. So the construction is underway in this battery pack, and I had mentioned this in a couple of videos ago of mine, that this was the plan, and it is confirmed here. Start of production in 2024 Q1. So again, we have this 2024 Q1 figure. Estimated annual production capacity of 1.27 gigawatts. Battery development in Indonesia. Met Indonesian President Joko Widodo to discuss investment projects in Indonesia. Cooperation is in progress. We all know about Foxconn'S bent towards joint ventures and working with governments and getting benefits from governments. But I want to say hello to all my friends in Bali out there. So this is in the future. These batteries, will they end up in the Endurance? We don't know. The Endurance is sourcing batteries already. They have been sourcing batteries. Steve Burns had made arrangements to get enough batteries to cover their production. They may already have a pipeline set up for the batteries for the Endurance. Will these batteries from Foxconn? I think eventually they will end up in the Endurance. Okay. All right then. And again, we're back to the business outlook slide. They do not have battery electric vehicles yet. Now, let me just summarize. The thing is, they said, move quickly. B2B, battery electric vehicle. This is Lordstown Motors. July, start of production. The Endurance was in production in July, according to them. I think deliveries are underway of the Lordstown Endurance. I think supply chains are being worked out with their new sourcing person, their new supply chain person at Lordstown Motors. And March, excuse me, March 2023, which is not that far away, it's going to be the start of really mass production of the Endurance, likely the high-top van coming very shortly afterwards, and perhaps the three-row SUV also to follow as a fleet, all three as a fleet vehicle initially. Lordstown Motors has always been fleet first, and then on to consumers. And we have the whole white label discussion and so forth. Let's try to move on to the next section here. Okay, this is going to be a quick report here. This is just an addendum to my last video about the Foxconn Foxtown syndicate of relationships they're building across the world. And this is the Foxconn Q22 Report. And some of this is Q2, some of this is Q, whatever. It's current. Okay? Now, Foxconn building out the BEV business. These are some statements taken from their presentation. Building out the BEV business via strategic joint ventures and ongoing investment. And currently, the stock price of Foxconn is 12 times PE. The stock's kind of flat. They are looking to launch their first BEV for a spike in their stock, proof of concept in their move to battery electric vehicles. That is the Endurance. They have stated production has started. We're going to have to look for deliveries. Now this is their guidance, and this is in Taiwanese dollars. By 2025, they're expecting $1 trillion in sales. That's 30 billion US dollars, and a 5% global battery electric market share by 2025. We all know what Foxconn has done with the iPhone. Is that possible? I think so. Okay, their logistics and margin strategy in battery electric vehicles, a lot like Tesla, strategy is more Honhai made components and some assemblies. Now, I've mentioned this in my previous venture, JV with Stellantis, for example, in my previous video. They're going to make chips, they're going to make sub-assemblies, you know, whether it's an ABS assembly or windshield wiper control assembly, motor assembly. Honhai is in a joint venture with Stellantis to make these and a whole lot of other things, including software and self-driving software, cloud software, infotainment, and so forth, to develop these in the form of a joint venture for use by Stellantis and by Honhai in their own efforts, and that is going to come into production 2024. in my opinion, the gross margin in BEVs at full production in 2024 is going to be 30%. And they're saying, some analysts and so forth are saying 10%. I think people are overlooking. I mean, all you have to do is look at efficiently produced Teslas to get the 30% margin. I think Hon-Hai is up to, with the guidance of Lordstown Motors, getting these types of margins, especially using hub motors, especially the Lordstown Motors products. BEV is vertical horizontal, more than Tesla, so they want to own the whole thing, okay, from the oil field to the gas pump, using a upstream downstream model for oil. Now you got to understand, they're only talking, basically, they're in talks in other parts of the world, but design engineering certification homologation via Lordstown MED joint venture. So you're looking at Lordstown being the hard engineering arm of Hon-Hai, and I would suspect that Hon-Hai is going to use their efforts and use these efforts from Lordstown and just push them out to other plants, whether they be in Indonesia or wherever else. I think Lordstown is going to have their thumb in the pie of all of these efforts of Hon-Hai, and who knows how much of that $30 billion is going to go into Lordstown's pocket, but this is in addition to the sales of their own vehicles. So, you know, you do the math, okay? So that's my take on it anyway. Now they do talk specifically. Let me see if I can get this mouse to work. I don't want this video to run on too long. Okay? They talk a lot about the Ohio plant. Okay? That's all they talk about, because that's the plant. This is their, genesis. This is the start of their battery electric vehicle. This is how important Lordstown, Ohio is, Voltage Valley is, and how critical Lordstown Motors. I had somebody in a Reddit video say, well, what is Lordstown Motors going to... Here's the thing, and even the CEO of Foxconn has said this. We want to get into BEVs. We know how to manufacture electronics. The only problem we have is we don't know how to make a battery electric vehicle. That's the role Lordstown Motors is playing, okay? And I also had some... I'll tell you, Reddit is the pit toilet of the internet. Guy saying, well, Stellantis has hundreds of engineers. They can knock out a BEV. Well, they have ICE engineers. These are engineers that Ford is getting rid of daily because they're of no use to BEV manufacturing. Anyway, so assembly of Lordstown, Ohio for the North American market. And they can export again to the rest of the world from Lordstown. There are rail spurs there. There are highways there. They can get to the Great Lakes and put them on giant boats and take them anywhere they want in Europe, so forth. Okay? They're also getting into the manufacturing of semiconductors, battery, component system. I've gone through this. The EG wiper unit, the MIH skateboard, and drivetrain. And this drivetrain, in my opinion, at least in some models, is going to include hub motors. Okay? That's my opinion. Foxconn's goal is to make 40% of the components that go into battery electric vehicles. And, I bet they, I don't know where they're at with the iPhone, but I bet they make nearly 100% of those components. So what the idea of Foxconn's BEV is, now, Lordstown's BEV effort is to sell commercial vehicles at the moment, design and sell their own commercial vehicles. And secondarily, or on the same level with that, act as the engineering and design arm of Foxconn Motors through their joint MED joint venture. That is Lordstown. Lordstown has its own product line and also is an engineering and design firm for Foxconn. Foxconn is offering OEMs full outsourcing of design and manufacturing of battery electric vehicles. At least this is their first effort. And this can be defined by the pair, Fisker pair. Also the Monarch tractor. In the future, I believe Foxconn, the Model E and the Model C are going to be Foxconn branded or Foxtron or whatever you want to call it, branded EVs that perhaps are going to be under their own private label. These will again be designed and engineered by Lordstown Motors, who will get fees and the right to distribute those vehicles in North America. But anyway, that's the difference between the two business models. Okay, now this is pretty important. This came out of my analysis of these comments made. Okay, this is the BEV timeline in Lordstown, Ohio. Okay, and this is cobbling together all of the research I've done, their consumer report, and my own opinions. My opinions, I'm talking about my opinions are restating facts I've already researched. Okay, unless I say something isn't factual, everything I say is based on research. Okay, the Endurance. This is the timeline. The Endurance start of commercial production was in July 2022. That's 2 months ago. Endurance for the full production starts, and this is full commercial production at full speed, I am imagining, or nearly, Q1 2023, March 2023. Monarch BEV AI tractor start of commercial production, again, Q1 2023. Again, I do believe Lordstown Motors is doing the design, homologation, and certification of this vehicle for Monarch. And I do believe that Foxconn is going to contract manufacture it based on LMC's input, which they are generating fees from, in my opinion. Do your own DD. 22, now this is from their report, okay? Years 22 and 23 will focus on commercial vehicles. Okay, those being the Endurance and the Monarch tractor. So this year we're starting our production on the Endurance. Next year, once these supply lines are worked out, I believe it's going to be full production of the Endurance and also this BEV tractor, AI tractor, which is very cool. The Fisker passenger cars, now they mentioned cars several times. I don't know what that means. You do your own DD on that. Maybe it was a mistranslation. The startup commercial production for Fisker by Lordstown, by Foxconn, is 2024. Again, this nexus of 2024. I have seen, and this is fact-based, based on research, that the pair is the MIH platform, likely to be the MIH platform, which means Lordstown Motors will do the engineering, design, and certification of that, generating fees, perhaps generating royalties for each unit that is produced. So that is 2024. That is yet another revenue stream in addition to likely fees on the Monarch tractor and fees on the sales of the and also carbon credits for the Lordstown Endurance BEV four-wheel drive pickup truck to fleet customers, at least initially. I am of the opinion that Hightower has transformed that vehicle and his remake of it into a Lariat level, F-150 Lariat level BEV four-wheel drive BEV consumer pickup truck. And that is my opinion. So 2024 is a kickoff for full BEV production at Lordstown, Ohio. So the first most important vehicle, Endurance. The most important location for Foxconn, the biggest electronics manufacturer in the world, Lordstown, Ohio. The most important vehicle to successfully launch and get them out of the gate is the Endurance, which is going to be built under contract by Foxconn. This is the proof of concept they need and want for their pivot to BEVs, and they feel this is going to be a big catalyst for the high stock price. Okay, I'm just going to go. Now, these are in my opinions. In my opinion, Lordstown Motors via MED JV will play a critical role in all BEV products manufactured at the Ohio plant, and perhaps elsewhere, acting as the design and engineering division of Foxconn. It is my opinion that Foxconn is going to want a unified command. They're going to want to have one group deciding what these standards are, a group working closely with them, adhering to the MIH platform principles and so forth. I don't think they're going to disperse these duties all over the world. I think they're going to set them all up to be part of Lordstown Motors. That is my opinion. The timeline for the start of commercial production for the Foxconn MED Model E and C, in my opinion, will be concurrent with the Fisker. So, I do believe, and Hightower has stated that during a call that work has already begun, preliminary work has already begun on some Foxconn models, some MIH models. I do believe the Model E and Model C are likely to be announced in 2024, going into production with the Ocean. By the way, that line at Lordstown, even under ICE, could produce 3 models at the same time. I'm sure BEVs being simpler, that number could even increase more. In my opinion, certainly on the Foxconn MED A&C BEV, will have North American distribution rights. So that's the A&C, Foxconn A&C battery electric vehicle models, the crossover and sedan. I think Lordstown Motors will do the engineering and design, is probably underway in that, will have the North American distribution rights and gain royalties for units sold elsewhere for those 2 models. The same for the LMC high top van, likely next product for LMC, and the 3-row BEV SUV to follow. So let me just, in my opinion, okay, this is going to be the Lordstown Motors product line. The Endurance, 4-wheel drive battery electric pickup. A high top van, which could be commercial or as a camper or as a van, 4-wheel drive BEV, okay? A 3-row suburban competitor BEV SUV based on the Endurance platform. And additionally, 2 Foxconn MIH based vehicles, the Model A and the Model C. I believe that should be the Model E and the Model C. The Model E is a luxury sedan. The Model C is a mid-priced crossover. So Lordstown's going to have a pickup, a van, an SUV, a luxury car, and a crossover. That, my friends, is a complete BEV product line for North America. I think they're all going to employ 4-wheel drive using hub motors. I think the margins are going to be fantastic. I think some of these might be sold as white label to other manufacturers. Who cares? Like Mao said, I don't care, or Deng Xiaoping said, I don't care if a cat is white or black as long as it catches mice, right? Nothing happens till a sale is made. In my opinion, as per my previous video, the LMD MED joint venture likely to develop turnkey BEVs, and now I'm going out on a ledge on this. For Faraday Future, I believe Faraday Future is going to have to move all their production of their lower level, their mid-level and lower level models to North America to work with the new current laws under the Inflation Reduction Act. I do believe Since Foxconn's already in bed with them, or kind of standing next to the bed with them, that Faraday Future is likely to be a customer of Foxconn contract manufacturing. Also, Dodge. I do believe Dodge is going to do the same thing. I do believe they're going to outsource manufacturing of some models to the MED joint venture, and to be manufactured by Foxconn for the North American market. And now Geely, again, already in bed with Faraday Future. If Geely wants to sell cars in North America and make money doing it, they're going to have to make them in North America. That supply line is going to have to be a lot of North American, or countries agreed to be trade partners with the United States, such as Taiwan, where or Saipan, whatever you want to call it, where Honhai is based. So if Geely wants to sell BEVs in North America, I think they, because of their existing relationship with Foxconn, are also going to move to the MED JV and Foxconn contract manufacturing. So in all of these efforts, and I do believe that's the end of my presentation there, in all of these efforts, the key for Foxconn knows how to put stuff together. They know how to engineer. They do not know how to engineer cars. They do not know how to get them certified. They do not know how to get them homologated. They want an expert to do that. That is what the function that Lordstown Motors is providing to Foxconn. It is their engineering and design division. And again, I think they're going to standardize that across all their manufacturing efforts. I do not think they're going to split these duties up all over the world. I think they're going to have one central design and engineering hub, and that's going to be Lordstown Motors. Anyway, I wanted to bring this to your attention. This is additional information for ride stockholders, Honhai. Also, an interesting stock if you wanted to hold over the counter or wherever that's traded. Certainly, once this production starts with the Lordstown Endurance, in my opinion, it has been stated, and you can look through my videos, there is an analyst from Taiwan who said they need a catalyst to prove to stockholders that this pivot to battery electric vehicles is going to work. And that, my friends, is the Lordstown Endurance pickup truck. And certainly by March of next year, that is going to be the case. And I do believe those trucks are being manufactured right now. I do believe probably deliveries have started or very nearly started. Lordstown is keeping things close to the vest. Both Foxconn and Lordstown have to agree to any information released. So we're going to have to wait for the formal word from them. That's mxux. I hope you guys liked the video. Thanks for watching, and subscribe and comment, okay? Thanks so much.